Fresh crack of the tin, guys. We are back. We are doing the season review of the Newcastle Knights and a season preview for hopefully a better season. So, guys, they were woeful. Let's be honest. They were absolutely woeful. And I'll get through all the stats and data that validates those claims. But my God, Newcastle Knights fans, what it saw from me from a TV point of view, before we dissect everything, they gave up. Now, I want to hear from you guys straight away. Did the Newcastle Knights in 2025 give? So, I've got some stuff down I have written all down. It's going to be very, very similar for every single team in this mini series. I don't think the Gold Coast Titans is going to be very mini. That's my team. But most of the teams will probably go for anywhere between 10 to, let's say, 45 minutes. Chris and I will be dissecting both of them. I'll have a couple of special guests coming through. Sam was on the Gold Coast Titans one. We're going to have hopefully Morgan for the South Sydney Rabbitohs one, and a couple of other special guests here and there. Maybe Josh Randall might come on for the Manly Seagulls one. That will be an interesting one. So, guys, anyway, that's the mini-series, but let's go straight into it. So, the Newcastle Knights, just a 2025 season snapshot. Ladder finish, 17th, wooden spoon, absolutely disgraceful. Let's be honest. Injury ravid, yes. Did they quit? Yeah, probably. Honestly, they did. And I'll get to that very, very shortly. So their record, 6 wins, 18 losses, 0 draws for a total of 18 competition points. The point differentiation was negative 300. Negative 300. Which was averaged out to be about 26 points per game conceded. By far the worst in the comp. So big talking point here, guys. Did they give up? Were they fighting for their coach? And obviously now that we can talk about that, Adam O'Brien isn't there anymore. And former Gold Coast Titans head coach Justin Holbrook, who has been working with a couple other coaches with the Sydney Roosters and every other place around. Yeah, Holbrook, great pickup in my opinion. Gold Coast Titans probably prematurely got rid of him. However, I think he's going to do wonders for potentially an attacking juggernaut moving forward for the Newcastle Knights. But I want to hear from you guys in regards to how you guys felt about the 2025 season. Again, 6 wins, 18 losses with a couple of heavy losing streaks, which I'll get to very shortly. Again, Justin Holbrook, I want to hear from you guys. How do you think he's going to go for the 2026 season? Is a fresh face going to do well? Was Adam O'Brien a bit of a scapegoat? I want to hear from you guys regarding that. Personally, it always comes down to the players. The coach can only do so much on the field. Obviously, they get the game plan. They'll aspire culture, winning effort, but you're only as good as your cattle at the end of the day. So guys like Adam O'Brien, yeah, potentially a bit of a scapegoat. So, again, Justin Holbrook has, when I reflect from the Gold Coast Titans days, very attacking mindset. Love that, because you got guys like Fletcher Sharp before he lacerated his kidney. Hectic injury. Hoping Fletcher Sharp's going to be good for 2026. But awesome. Dylan Brown, overpaid? Maybe. Looked pretty good in the Pacific Nations Cup. And then obviously you got Kalen Ponga. Okay, former Dally M medal winner, superstar in his own right. But again, you got a lot of money invested into 2 players in Ponga and Brown. These 2 boys need to be working hand in hand to get these guys back into the top 8 contention, where they were rightfully hovering for many years. Now, roster movement, so in and out for 2026. This is according to Zero Tackle. There's some guys who have come, obviously, but I probably won't mention them because you guys probably don't know too much about them. But Dylan Brown, obviously big ticket purchase. Long-term 5'8" or halfback position. Played a bit of centre for Parramatta Eels, low-key. Didn't hate it. But he's a marquee signing. Dylan Brown needs to go gangbusters. Will he be number 7 for the Newcastle Knights? You guys have to wait and find out in my best 17 spot. But let me know. Do you think he's more of a 6 or a 7? Or can he be developed like a Jaden Campbell-esque player at a halfback position? You got guys like Trey Mooney coming from the Raiders, edge middle, has a lot of upside in my opinion. There is a starting lock position ready to go. Does he snag that? I got a smokey I want to talk about soon for that lock position, but Trey Mooney, definitely potential there. Another big signing was Sandon Smith coming from the Sydney Roosters. His utility half, This is where the conversation point probably comes first in the hand. You got a potential spine of Ponga at 1, Fletcher Sharp at 6, Dylan Brown at 7, and potentially Sanders Smith at 9. Do we like that more than maybe a Fletcher Sharp to the wing or a Kalen Ponga to halfback? Do we want Sanders Smith in the halves? Do we want him at 9 or do we want him at hooker? Again, you guys, I want to hear from you, especially you Knight fans. You have a bit more passion than me. Where do you want Sanders Smith? Does he make the 17? If he does make the 17, would he be better as a utility role or starting in the halves and or hooker? Personally, I think maybe utility, personally. I kind of like Phoenix Crossland, big body, big biceps, that's for sure. I thought he proved himself pretty well in the New Zealand national team in the Pac Nations. Definitely, yeah, those two will be fighting for that hooker position. Might get a sneaky grab at halfback or 5'8", pending what happens in the off season. Again, no jersey safe. They were woeful in 2025, so those guys will be fighting for their spots. And again, Fletcher Sharp, hopefully back to full swing. Bit wasted on the wing potentially. Is he a 6? Probably rather him at fullback. Wouldn't mind seeing Kalen Ponga at number 7. Now, this is what I want to sort of get to first. Ponga played in the halves for not even half a season a few years ago now. I can't remember the exact date. But Ponga at 6, he was really, really good in my eyes. He plays like a number 7. Think about when you get to the red zone, Newcastle Knight fans. All he did, he was first receiver every single time. It sort of negated his ability to play off ball and get one-on-one with a defender and burn them with his footwork or his speed. Fletcher Sharp at number 1 there makes more sense in my eyes, and having a combination of Dylan Brown and Ponga in the halves and those two just getting the ball with Fletcher Sharp sniffing and doing all the hard work at the back, for me that makes a lot of sense, and they're probably not going to do it at the very start of the season, but I wouldn't mind seeing Kalen Ponga shift to number 6 or number 7 halfway through the season if, keyword if, their season starts slow in particular. Now, big losses for 2026. You got Jaden Braley. Didn't really play too much. Came back from an ACL not too long ago. He's gone to the Canberra Raiders. Lost a little bit of leadership there. He was a former captain for the Newcastle Knights. I think their biggest loss, though, is Leo Thompson. He's gone to the Canterbury Bulldogs. Big middle enforcer. Got that grit. He's got that dog in him. Bulldogs definitely got one what they actually needed in the middle. Can they replace him? Can they replace that dog, that big alpha male, Leo Thompson? That question needs to be answered. And when we get to the top 17, they're looking a little thin in the front row. And I want to hear how you think they're going to go in regards to their forward pack. Their edges, Kai Pearce-Paul is a big loss, however. He's gone to the West Tigers. I thought he's severely underutilized by Adam O'Brien. Bloke in the bar always specifies that he's got his offload taken away from him. And I think give him a guy, and you want to empower your players. Obviously, you don't want them to make errors, but they couldn't score. Why not let the offload go? Why not let him have a chance to do a Payne Haas-esque sort of offload or a Terrell May offload here and there and get guys like Fletcher Sharp or Ponga sniffing around the ruck, Dominic Young even. Those are things that we could look for later on. Jack Hetherington, another dog who's going to be leaving. He's gone to the Melbourne Storm. Whether or not he gets to start at that second row position, time will tell. But definitely got that aggro in them. Leo Thompson, Jack Hetherington, big losses in the forward pack in my eyes. You had Will Price, who's a utility. He's gone to English Super League. He had a few games here and there, had potential, but definitely wasn't a regular first grader. They're probably the main guys worth talking about. But again, big ins with Dylan Brown, big in with Sandon Smith, but again, equally and arguably as big a loss with Leo Thompson and Kai Pearce-Paul. Now, again, upgrades with potential versus reality and culture. Can these things be into equilibrium to bring these guys back into contention with the top 8? That's what I want to know. And that's what we're definitely looking forward to for 2026. But for me personally, how did 2025 look? Looking at the end of the year, woeful. Absolutely woeful. They lost two different losing streaks. They won the first two games, so optimism was obviously there, and then lost 5 in a row. My God, so poor. So poor. And then to finish off the season, they lost 9 games in a row. That is crazy talk. 9 games in a row. That's going to be absolutely debilitating to culture, confidence, work ethic, all the above. And again, I'm not saying this is just me talking trash, me talking smoke. But again, that could have been a thing to try to push the door to get Adam O'Brien out there to get a new head coach. All speculation, not any source at all. But that's definitely something to look at. Maybe a fresh face goes a long way. Getting some new cattle in, getting rid of some of the old blood. Obviously, Jaden Braley being a former captain, that could potentially help. Empowering their current crop, obviously getting healthy, definitely important. But to sum it up in one word, 2025, poor. Poor is a word that I'll use for the Newcastle Knights. But there was some good players that exceeded expectation in my eyes. I put down Phoenix Crossland. Again, I mentioned previously that Phoenix Crossland played for the international team, for the New Zealand national team. I thought he was very good. Mate, he's played every position known to man. He played 9, played 7, played 6, put him in the forwards at lock. Don't mind him at lock either. Again, I mentioned before, he's a big body, hard worker. Could be that linking sort of man. They could sort of go all in on small ball, as you could say. I thought the Jacob Saifidi, when healthy, by far their best forward. Obviously, we talked about big dog Leo Thompson with the aggro, and they got that dog. But Jacob Saifidi was their guy leading their forward pack in regards to meter readage. And he was the sort of guy that all the forwards and backs looked at saying, hey, you're our enforcer. Greggy Marzu, when healthy, I thought he was good. Has always struggled under the higher ball, and that's why I sort of changed teams here and there. Gold Coast Titans was an example. Dominic Young, come back from the Roosters. I thought he was good in patches. Again, inconsistent, but if he's coached, I think if he's coached a little bit better with his defense, again, that was the issue at the Roosters, that will, again, 2 huge meter average boys on the wing, could be very dynamic. And in the past, they've scored huge amount of tries on the edges. So there's no reason why Newcastle Knights, now with Ponga and Brown leading the ship, don't see why they can't get back to that. When healthy, again, key word, health. Bradman Best, when he is right, he is that good. He's so young, but my God, his hamstrings are made of paper. They're made of paper. Bradman Best, go get a new S&C, go get a new physio, go get a new sports scientist. Bloody, I don't know, get something, get some vibranium or something injected into those hamstrings of yours, mate, because they're paper weak. If you can get healthy, Bradman Best, again, we've seen it on the bigger stage of a more playing for New South Wales last year, getting that almost game, or they got the game-winning play. But he also got selected for the Australian Kangaroos. Bit premature. Personally, I don't think he got there at the very end. But again, when healthy, he's very good. Also very good in my eyes, Dylan Lucas. Key theme to this bloody team seems to be health. When he was healthy, he was very good. Not only for my super coach team, but dynamic. Played that attacking sort of edge role with Kai Pearce-Paul. Both of them were very good. And Jermaine McEwen, he's going to be going gangbusters for Kai Pearce-Paul. He sort of sprung onto the season sort of halfway through. I thought he was very good. Looked very comfortable in top grade. He could be an absolute gamebuster and must-have for NRL Supercoach, but he's probably going to be a regular first grader and an 80-minute player. So Jermaine McEwen definitely needs to step up now that Kai Pearce-Paul isn't there, but those 2 edge second roles, very good. What do you think of those guys who sort of also achieved that I did not mention? I want to hear from that as well. Players who disappointed. Ponga, I think Ponga is definitely the one that we need to be talking about the most, and that just comes down to the money that he's on. Again, the salary cap era of the NRL and the NBA, whatever, if you don't manage your cap correctly and you're overpaying someone, it severely inhibits the overall feng shui and overall balance of your team. Ponga, as I mentioned earlier, played more like a halfback than he played like a fullback. I want to see him playing, okay, go all in on halfback. That's fine. That is fine. But then Fletcher Sharp goes to fullback. but you can't be the hybrid of both. I think you need to be a little bit more off ball, and now with Dylan Brown and potentially Sandon Smith helping lead that ship around the park. Another guy I want to mention at lock very, very soon, but he could also help get Ponga to more space. I want to see Ponga run the ball or be that second man off the ball. Okay, that's what I want to see, and I think you guys will probably agree with that as well. Ponga needs to be off the ball to be at his best. Unless they just lean completely in at Ponga at halfback, then I get it. But until then, we'll see. Yeah, he's probably the biggest guy. I thought Gagai was also very good. Should give a big shout out to Gagai. He got the players player from all the Knights boys. Yeah, could have easily played Origin again. Stepped up for goal kicking duties. And again, at his, I'm putting this in abbreviation, at advanced age, he's killing it. Gagai's absolutely killing it. I don't think his spot's going to be anywhere lost anytime soon. And again, he can play fullback, he can play wing, he can play center. You could probably even chuck him into 5'8". Yeah, Gagai, very, very good. And again, he definitely deserves players player. Best moments, probably round 1 and 2 because they won. And then after that, you could probably close your eyes and just not even look because they're absolutely woeful. But Newcastle Knight fans, you could probably say it within the stadium, but watching on TV, regardless of the weather, regardless how your team's performing, you guys always turn up. And I think it's a real compliment to the culture that you guys have had over the years, whether just scraping to the gate or reflecting back to the Andrew Johns days. So really well done at McDonald's Stadium. So very, very, very good. And rookies to watch for next year, again, Jermaine McEwen's technically a part of that list. You got Fletcher Sharp, again, coming back from his lacerated kidney and liver. Definitely 2 guys to keep an eye on for next year. Not too sure about the other rookies coming through. Got guys like Fletcher Hunt, the Mullet Boys you could talk about. They'll also potentially get a crack in first grade again more consistently. And Trey Mooney is another guy we talked about with the Canberra Raiders coming across. I'm probably missing a guy too because this is obviously my team. So, guys, I want to hear from you in the comments. Who is a young fella coming through that you think is a must watch? Yeah, I want to hear from it. Now, this one's the Fox Sports Strength of Schedule. And Newcastle Knight fans, I think you're going to like this one. So, according to Fox Sports Strength of Schedule, the 2026 draw, they're actually 11th. So, they're sort of mid-average tier. They've got double-up games against the Rabbitohs. Who knows what the hell's doing? Warriors, they're very feisty. Roosters are going to be probably juggernauts next year. Raiders, there's probably a little bit of regression, but a lot of their younger fellas are probably coming up again. Dragons, definition of mid. Seagulls, Fogarty, I don't know. That's going to be a very, very interesting mini segment, that one. Gold Coast Titans, who bloody knows? New coach. Oh, Kearney's back. Not going Titans. And obviously the West Tigers, they're a basket case in their own right. But again, new guys coming through, culture's improving. Yeah, we'll see about them. A lot of those games are winnable, and that is the key when the Knights are fit. So games versus 2025 top 8 teams, they got 11 games. And top 4 teams got 5. Games versus bottom 4 teams, they got 6, and they got the Dragons and Titans twice. I do expect those 2 teams to be a little better so they won't be cakewalks. In regards to their buys for 2026, they got 2 buys in the Origin period. Honestly, not ideal. Ponga's probably off the top of my head the only real chance, maybe Dylan Lucas, to get a chance at Origin. Everyone else, no go. So you'd probably want your buys at different stages. And you've also got the buy in round 27. Okay, so I guess that could be a blessing in disguise. You don't have to rest anyone per se. But at least you know you could have a Mad Monday early or you're preparing for finals, which is also good to see. But you need to bank the wins against those bottom 4 teams from 2025. I just think everyone's going to be better. Honestly, I think everyone is going to be better next year. So it's going to be really tough to tell who drops off a little bit. And again, injuries play a huge, huge factor. So this is my projected best 17 for 2026. And there's a smokey and / a caveat that I want to put in at the very, very end. So at fullback, I've got Kalen Ponga. At wing, I've got Greg Marju and Dom Young. Again, they're locks. Dane Gagai, Bradman Best, locks. Good centers. Now, at 6, I've got Fletcher Sharp. And at number 7, I've got Dylan Brown. That's expected. Okay, again, potential change later on in the season where uh, Fletcher Sharp and Callum Ponga switch. I doubt it, but I would like to see it. At front row, we've got Jacob Saifidi and Tyson Frizzell. I love Frizzell as a more of a mobile, modern day front rower. Lost a little bit of speed, but he's got that mongrel in him. And obviously, I've talked about Jacob Saifidi in depth before. Very, very talented, very big body. He's got a lot of hard work to do now. Leo Thompson's not there. We've already talked about these two boys, McEwen and Dylan Lucas. They're locks in my eyes for their edge spots for the Newcastle Knights in 2026. And then currently I've got Trey Mooney starting at lock. Now, there's two other guys that we could talk about here. We could talk about Phoenix Crossland potentially getting a go at number 13. And an absolutely smoky one could be Tyson Gamble. I love Tyson Gamble. I love how the way he plays. He's a hothead. He wants to win. He's got that dog. He's got that energy. I think energy goes a long way. He's obviously played a lot of time in the halves. I would love to see him change positions in the offseason and play more of that lock role. I think that would help the team tremendously. Okay, and again, he's a pretty big body. So a bit more athleticism, a bit more speed around the ruck. Obviously got that ball playing, good kicking game. Could help Dylan Brown, and obviously Fletcher Sharp is not a renowned kicker. I think that just provides another option and another attacking weapon for this team. Wouldn't hate to see it. But then again, I've got Phoenix crossing off the bench with Brody Jones. Hard-working front rower, got a good motor. Got Matt Croker and Lachlan Crouch currently. Again, we could talk about Tyson Gamble, potentially a James Schiller coming in. Maybe a Thomas Kant. Thomas Kant was filling in a lot of the time when those second rollers went down, particularly Dylan Lucas. And then obviously you got guys like Fletcher Hunt on the fringes for the outside backs. So again, a lot of talk regarding the spine, and I think that's the biggest thing. I want to hear from you guys what you want the spine to be, including the number 13. Does Gamble get a crack? That is the question. Does Crossland start? Does Sandon Smith come off the bench? We will see. I want to know from you guys. I think the back five, set and forget. This one of the better back fives when healthy, with Marju, Dom Young, Best, Gagai, Ponga / Sharp. Again, high upside. Can they stay healthy? That's another one. Now, the middles, not the biggest forward pack in the world. I think you just lean into small ball, personally. Doggy style. Wink, wink. Yeah, smaller ball. Look for that ruck speed. Look for those quick play the balls. Look to try to get to the outside backs. Use those attacking upside guns, particularly now that you got two good running halves in Fletcher Sharp / Ponga / Dylan Brown, all hovering around the ball. Would love to see that. And then again, the bench, the utility spot. Is it Crossland? Is it Sandon Smith? Is it Gamble? Is it someone else I'm not mentioning? Those are probably the biggest things to talk about. Yeah, ladder prediction. Now, what we're going to be doing for every single team, I've got ChatGPT. We brought this one back from last year, or this year technically, but ChatGPT's prediction for cap or fact. Now, ChatGPT has predicted in 2026 the Newcastle Knights to finish 13th. Too high, too low. What do you think? But again, this is the justification. From spoon to proper NRL spine with Brown, Smith, Ponga, and Fletcher Sharp. These guys are meant to be, again, attacking upside. They've got a softer strength of schedule, number 11, with some younger guys coming through in McEwen and Dom Young. So not Dom Young, Fletcher Sharp. And again, fresh forward rotation. Saifidi, huge. They need to stay healthy all year. But my prediction, number 13 or number 14. I think ChatGPT is pretty much on par. A lot of variables will be in regards to can they stay healthy? Can the new spine gel? And will Justin Holbrook fix the culture of not giving up? Because again, that 9-game losing streak was absolutely abysmal. That's not good enough for the fans who work so hard to get to those games, whether it's raining, middle of bloody winter. Again, that is their team. Newcastle Knights, that is your team. Get around them, rally around them. What do you guys think about my prediction? Number 13, number 14. I want to hear from you guys in the comments or on socials. But that is the mini series, guys. That is the mini series. Short, sharp, sweet, 25 minutes. Again, we'll be getting other co-hosts on there to have a bit more of a discussion here and there. But again, Gold Coast Titans are up next. I want to hear from you guys. Did I do a good job in picking that starting 13? What's the spine going to look like? Are the forwards going to be good enough? Time will tell. When you guys hear this, I want you guys to have a very Merry Christmas. And if you're watching this in the new year, love you all. Support us. Share on all social media. Tell a friend. Crack a fresh tin. You guys have earned it. Love you all. Signing out.